Ladies and gentlemen, NFL is back. We're back with some more game previews. Unfortunately, I would have liked to get these out before the day of the game, but it is how it is. We'll still get the video out to you guys. Today, as you saw by the title, we were doing Cowboys, Chargers, 425 Sunday football. Football's back. We got some week 2 action. Hopefully, we'll be getting some more views. I'll be assuming to get the Ravens Chiefs one. I might be getting another 425. So if you guys are watching this, I'm sure we have either posted another video or another one will be coming. So make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications because we post NFL content all the time. Some mock drafts will start to be coming. We do weekly predictions. I'm currently 5-11, and I thought that wasn't that bad, but it's really bad. So I'm hoping to get my records up. So make sure you watch our weekly prediction video and you can see all of our picks. You can play along with us and comment them in the comments. Yeah, but today, as you saw by the title, great offensive matchup, I'd say. This is a good way to put it. As the Cowboys play Chargers, I'm not sure who's home and who's away. I believe it's Chargers at Cowboys. I could be wrong though. Both of these teams playing away in week 1. Obviously, Chargers beat Washington at Washington 20-16. And then the Cowboys lost on opening night, Thursday Night Football. Was it a week ago? A week ago against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 31-29, losing on that field goal. So again, you look at the two guys on the screen right now, and probably the two guys that were in the thumbnail, the two quarterbacks for these teams who are going to be the two main focuses of this matchup. Obviously, both players having this fantastic kind of start to the season. Obviously, a lot of hype built up. Dak Prescott looked better than he did when he was left, obviously, with that terrible ankle injury. And again, we'll be going over depth chart, injury reports. We'll be going over it all. But again, like to kind of preface this kind of storyline, I think, obviously there are some injuries we'll go over that will be a quite big deal with these two quarterbacks. Is going to be the biggest matchup because these are both guys who can do it all, who are arguably at this point top 10 guys. Dak Prescott, we know, has that arm, obviously has a receiving core to back him up. And then you have Justin Herbert, who we know is going to be one of the good quarterbacks for the future. Obviously, so young, so kind of efficient downfield, kind of surgical with the ball. So it'll be a fantastic matchup simply between these two guys. Just the literal fact of who's the better quarterback and who can outdo the other. At the end of the day, I would say it's probably right now swaying towards the Cowboys. I think right now, if you were to go underdog, it would be the Chargers, but really it's a very, very even playing field for sure, because both of these teams have great quarterbacks. Excuse me. But yeah, so when, as I said, when we go kind of, all right, so let's just look at some of the depth charts here. What are kind of the big stories going? So we're going to go quickly to injury report from both teams, kind of gather what we know in terms of injury. So we have the big deal, obviously, is Chris Harris will be out against them. Obviously, that's ginormous. They're arguably their best cornerback now against a Cowboys receiving core that destroyed a really, not destroyed, but obviously exploited a really good Buccaneers defense, arguably the best defense in the league, putting up 29 points against them. And obviously that was a big reason because of Dak Prescott, but losing him is going to be, it's going to be really big. I mean, Chris Harris, while he may not be as good as people, think, or not even that, as good as he used to be. I think that's a good point. He's still their number one corner, obviously, as they lost Casey Hayward to the Raiders. And now they're main guy who I can think of would be Asante Samuel, who's more of a slot guy. He's only like 5'10", so he's not going to be able to guard really a Michael Gallup, or more notably Amari Cooper or a CeeDee Lamb. So that matchup between the two, the secondary and the receiving core is going to be polarizing, because it's, at the end of the day, it's like, who really is going to be good? Like, we don't know. And then again, Derwin James here with his toe, he will be in. Obviously, he didn't play Wednesday, but then he did play. And then Nasir Adderley, one of their safeties, who's a good hitter, he is questionable. Obviously, Kyler Fackrell. And then the other doubtful one is Justin Jones, defensive line. Then we have Trey Marshall, who's another defensive back, and their kicker, who I believe is playing, but it was just an illness. And then obviously Fackrell knee, but he will assume it, hopefully come back. Now, a lot of injuries on the defense for this this Cowboys team, you have DeMarcus Lawrence, who we know broke or fractured his foot, and he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. So big loss for them. Obviously, he was really impactful in the pass rush for the Cowboys against the Buccaneers. And then as well, you lose Donovan Wilson to a groin injury. Hopefully he'll be back. I'm not sure what the timeline for his return is. Also, Ty Nsekhe, who is one of their tackles, who I believe is not a starter, illness, he is out. And then DeMonte Casey, who they acquired from Atlanta, is questionable with thigh injury. But then you have, Chauncey Golston, obviously Nashawn Wright, who I think that was personal, so he'll be in. So the big deal for here is what's the pass rush going to be looking like? Because we know they draft some players. You have Jabril Cox and Micah Parsons. So I think a big thing we could be seeing is if we go to the Cowboys, their depth chart. Obviously, you have Dak Prescott. If we go now to defensive end position, not sure where so we go to defensive end. Obviously, here, no more. There's no more Lawrence here. Obviously, he's out. So you have Randy Gregory, Terrell Basham as the number one guy. Terrell Basham, I believe, is a rookie. I'm not sure, but that might be the Bills one. And then you have Chauncey Golston here as well. So there is definitely some options, I would say. And then you kind of look at the rest of that defense, and it's definitely left a lot better. You look at that linebacking core with Jalen Smith and Keanu Neal, who's a more, I guess, converted safety because he was a safety on the Falcons. And then the man, Micah Parsons, with his explosive ability, I think we'll be seeing a lot is kind of that. A lot of passers, I would say, going more to a more outside linebacker because, without DeMarcus Lawrence, there's not much of a pass rush there, unfortunately. And I think Micah Parsons offers this really jittery speed kind of pass rush that a lot of people or a lot of offensive linemen aren't expecting. I mean, Mike Parsons went in. He's a really good tackler, efficient, really good at reading the field. And then behind him, you always have Van Der Esch, and you'll have Jalen Smith and Jabril Cox, who's that second guy. That's a really good linebacking core. I mean, that's young and has potential to be one of the best. So kind of having that behind you, I think they can, Mike Parsons has a versatility, or at least they have that versatility to move him out to more of an edge rusher, which he completely can play at. And they still have linebackers to fill in and still be that number one guy. Because if I'm the Cowboys, I trust Jabril Cox to go in there against a good Cowboys or not Chargers offense, obviously, but I guess the matchup with Jared Cook, and then you have Keenan Allen as well out there. It'll be tougher, but I think the linebackers definitely have the upside. And then I think a big deal is going to be the corners. Still, Trayvon Diggs, their number one guy, Anthony Brown, and then Jordan Lewis in the slot. Not the strongest cornerback group, but kind of goes defensive line, linebackers, and then it's just not very good. The safeties are all right. Obviously, Donovan Wilson, who we saw, is out, so it'll mostly be Jaron Kearse moving into that strong safety position. Then you have DeMonte Casey and Malik Hooker. I forgot. I'm not sure why he is the second. Maybe they move him to strong safety because they know he has been an anchor to some good defenses, or a good defense in Indianapolis. But it'll be in terms of just matchups, I think it's obviously, as we go along in the NFL season, or as we move throughout it, injuries occur. And I think the matchups just get so interesting because it's how can these teams adjust, because it's a 17-game season or 18-week season, but 17 games for each team. It's another one. And it's a big deal because it's a lot more resting. A lot of more players are going to get injured, obviously, coming off this COVID season. We saw what happened in the offseason with just the amount of, first of all, running backs that got injured. And then I think another big point, if we didn't touch on it at all, is the running backs. Ezekiel Elliott, and then for the Chargers, they kind of have the rotating backfield, but obviously their main running back is Austin Eckler, and then they have Justin Jackson, obviously Joshua Kelly, and then we saw a lot of their fourth string, Larry Roundtree, who got a ton of action. So maybe he gets in there. Obviously, Eckler had that slight injury, and then he did play, and then Chase Daniel actually took that QB2 spot. And then wide receivers, you have Keenan Allen, Jalen Guyton, and KJ Hill. So the wide receiving core is good. And then obviously on the other side, you have Mike Williams and Joshua Palmer, the rookie, as your more bigger outside guys. So in terms of exploiting, I think the receiving to defensive back matchup is in favor of the receiving cores for both teams. So again, it's a really even matchup. You really look on both sides of the ball. There's not, quarterbacks are quite even. I would say Dak has the edge, but it's not like Justin Herbert can't stay up with him, because we know he can. And then on the defensive side, I think I would say the Chargers may have an upside only for the fact that they still have Joey Bosa Jerry Tillery, Linval Joseph, Justin Jones is their edge rushers. And then obviously their backup, Chris Rum, they have a pretty good outside. And then their linebackers are good, obviously, with Kenneth Murray. They have Kazir White, Drew Tranquil, Nick Neiman. And then if we look at their cornerbacks, their number one is going to be Michael Davis, number 43, and Asante Samuel, most likely in the slot, I would assume. And then in the back, they have Kamon Hall and Tavon Campbell. It's going to be very interesting. And I think defensively, secondary wise, I still have Derwin James. So I'd give that kind of, how do I say, that secondary, upside to the Chargers. But be a great matchup. I have the Cowboys winning this one. Let us know in the comments down below who you have winning. Without further ado, this is the Sports Scoop. A ton of videos will be coming out. Make sure you guys do subscribe, and we'll see you next time.